Okay, we're on record. We're on record.
Good evening. Announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and that it is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 et sec of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Roll call, please, Ms. Jolie.
Mr. Berkowitz.
Not here.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say his name. Mr. Jaskowitz.
Here.
Mr. Quinn.
Here.
Mr. Reddy.
Here.
Mr. Willens.
Here.
Chairwoman Grignani.
Here.
We have our board planner, Mr. Chadwick. Our
Present.
board engineer, Mr. Lemanowitz, and our
Here.
board attorney, Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Would you please join us in standing and saying the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the record, Mr. Petty's here.
Mr. Chadwick, can you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm that any testimony that you give tonight shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. Romanovitz, you swear or affirm that any testimony that you give tonight shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
The meeting is open to the general public. Agenda. Application 2310, we're doing Kologic. Application 2460, Kologic, 200 Weebro Road, Block 737, Lot 2Z, SED-5A, a minor site plan with D variance for fuel storage capacity, paving and stripping. Mr.
Good evening,
O'Neill?
everybody. Joseph O'Neill of Pierre Follow O'Neill here on behalf of the applicant, Kologic. What Kologic is basically is a data center. They're an existing data center down on Weber Road by Liquid Church. What they're looking to do is they're looking to expand the capacity of the generators they have, the backup generators. And that, of course, necessitates storing fuel, and this is a Tier 2 wellhead connection. So for that reason, we are here before you this evening for the storage of the fuel. I had a big presentation prepared when we were scheduled the other night, but we have only a half hour, so I now have a very small and on-point presentation prepared. Kologic is a wonderful company. There's data storage there. They take a lot of pride in what they do. The site is very secure. And with that, I'd like to go right into a description of the tanks themselves, which is probably what everybody would like to hear about. So I do that in case
Sorry. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Can you state your name, spell your last name, please?
Yes, my name is John Jacobs, Jacobs.
Mr. Jacobs, could you give the board, please, the benefit of your experience?
Yes, I am an architect with a company called Corgan. I have been designing data centers almost exclusively for the last 17 years. We've performed work all across the country and even globally. Kologic is a client of ours. We've deployed facilities for them in multiple states, and we're doing work within this legacy facility at Weber Road.
I would submit Mr. Jacobs is an expert for architectural purposes this evening.
He appears to be qualified.
Thank you. Mr. Jacobs, could you please describe for the board what exactly we are doing here on site, or proposing to do on site?
Sure. So the facility being a data center, the client's customer requirements involve maintaining power and connectivity for their servers and IT equipment. If there should be an electrical failure with the utility grid, they would require generator backup for those purposes to maintain operations continuously. The way that we deploy generators for Kologic, they have an engine, a diesel engine for backup power. It's mounted on top of a fuel storage tank we refer to colloquially as a belly tank. And that is what we're proposing for this particular site. The construction of the belly tanks is double walled, so there's a primary storage tank, there's an outer tank, should there be any kind of leak within the primary tank itself. Unlikely, but again, just for safety reasons and also for the cost of diesel fuel, our clients are highly motivated to ensure that there isn't a leak. As a tertiary measure for this particular facility, all of these belly tanks are being located within a sump So that is actually a slab depression within the building footprint itself, where these tanks will be stored, and then all diesel storage will be essentially within the envelope of the building and not out on the site.
So it's indoors?
That is correct.
Now, these are not pressurized.
Correct. So we refer to these tanks as atmospheric, and what that means is the fuel within the tanks is under no more pressure than, say, water within a glass sitting on your table. The contents are not pressurized. Diesel is flammable, but it is not explosive like gasoline. It requires compression for it to combust. So if you're familiar with diesel engines, it requires a lot of pressure within the piston to actually achieve combustion. So in this case, it's actually pretty safe, well-known, and then we've also classified the building appropriately for the storage of diesel for building construction purposes.
Noise levels?
I beg your pardon?
Noise.
There is noise, however, there is sound attenuation on the generator, so there is a muffler that would go with the gen set, and then it exhausts upward and outward. So if you look at the existing building, there are actually legacy generators. They have, I kind of call them stingers, but they're essentially an exhaust pipe that comes up and then goes up above the building, so it's not necessarily just blasting noise at the property boundary. And then also the site is bounded by commercial properties on all sides of it.
Is there a requirement for any kind of fire suppression system?
There is, so there is actually a fire suppression system within the generator plant room. So what our clients deploy is what we refer to as a double interlock pre-action system. So these are systems that remain dry. The pipes don't have water in them. They don't charge until there's actually an alarm or a need for that to occur. But there will be fire suppression within that space.
And it's water will go into the system when required?
That's correct.
Okay.
When the system alarms, pipes are charged and then heads fuse to release water
Okay.
within that space.
How often do you have to exercise these?
Generators are required to be exercised potentially monthly or bi-monthly, depends on the maintenance scheme that the client adopts. The other part that limits this is there are actually federal emissions requirements that restrict the amount of runtime for generators outside of emergency operations. So they're not running constantly. Usually, I think in most cases, you'll see them run once a month. And they might run them for 20, 30 minutes, again, just to make sure that the engines are in working order. That's to make sure that when there is a power failure, the engines will reliably start and deliver power to the client.
Daytime exercise, I assume.
Daytime exercise, yeah. We don't want to do it at midnight. I think most staff are present during the day.
Any other questions from the board? Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak on the information that was given by this gentleman tonight?
I did have just one more question.
Surely.
How many generators are we proposing?
We are proposing in this tranche of work 6 generators in total.
How many total generators would be on site?
Oh, I'd have to go back and count again. But we did do a quantity takeoff of the fuel that's on site. So basically, with this variance that we're requesting, we bring the total storage of the facility to 54,500 gallons of diesel on site.
That's with the 36,000 additional.
Correct.
That's the total storage on site.
Correct, yes.
And the fact that it's stored inside, I guess is a little weird to me, but that's a common practice?
So it was a very common practice, I'd say about 10 to 12 years ago, to have diesel storage that was within kind of entirely contained underground or indoor diesel storage. More commonly now, generators are actually deployed outside the building. But in this particular case, because of the site constraints and the way that this building was designed, it's kind of a legacy design from about a decade ago. So fuel is going inside, and that's actually how this facility has been deployed with all of the previous phases as well.
And with your expertise, you wouldn't consider this any more dangerous than outside, or would you?
No, I wouldn't, because again, the gas itself, the diesel, excuse me, while it is flammable, it is not of an excessive quantity for building code.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you were building that structure today, would you build it inside or outside? What would be preferable?
We would build it outside, but not because of safety. It'd be more out of economy. So it's
Out of what?
out of economy. It's just cheaper to locate the generators outside the building, on a site, on a pad. Putting them inside the facility actually costs more time and money. Building this sump is actually going to be a bit of a burden for this client, but in this case, it's the right choice for this particular site.
Because they're already there.
You're taking up space, basically, what you're saying.
Exactly right.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Other questions? Are there any other questions from the board? Would someone like to,
Did you ask for questions from the?
oh, sorry, I think I did.
You did?
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to ask questions of this witness on his testimony only? See none. Would someone like to frame a resolution, please?
I don't think he's done.
No, I don't have any further witnesses.
Oh, great.
I've got some site questions if your site engineer is present.
Yes, you could bring him up for questions. Do we want him up? One of them is for you.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name, please.
My name is Joseph Yanucci, last name spelled Yannucci.
Can you give the board, please, your qualifications?
Sure, I'm a associate principal with Langen Engineering and Environmental Services, located right here in Parsippany. I've been with the firm for 24 years and been practicing civil engineering the entire time.
Your licenses are all current?
Yes,
I would submit him as an expert for engineering,
Appears to be qualified.
and you're familiar with the reports prepared in association with this application?
yes.
I believe we have a question.
With respect to the outside facilities in the back, in the corner there, what we see as footprint, how big or how tall are those units?
Sure, I'll give a 2-minute overview of what the improvements are happening outside of the building. That's what I was responsible for. There are proposed 6 new transformers located in this corner of the rear of the property. I'm going to zoom in here. Here are the 6 transformers. That is really the only new equipment that is happening on site outside of the building. There will be new underground concrete duct banks going from each transformer back into the building. So we are digging a bit of a pit here to locate all these underground conduits located within the existing asphalt area. We are not altering the current limits of the vehicular use area. All the vehicular maneuvering back here will remain as is. The transformers will sit on concrete pads, and I believe your question is how high are these transformers?
Correct.
I don't actually have that answer. Do we know how high that's? I believe they're 6 feet. 6 feet? Approximately 6 feet high.
They're all the same height, it looks different on the chart.
The transformers are located here, and they would all be the same size and height.
Where's the bar graph we're looking at above those?
I'm sorry, sir?
The bar graph that goes above that's what that's,
It's the conduits in the ground.
the conduits,
Yes.
that's all underground?
That's all
Okay,
underground.
got it, thank you. That's what I thought.
And you're going to have a fence or some sort of protection around them, that they're not going to be exposed to the, you'll have a fence or some sort of,
There's an existing fence in the rear of the property.
Okay.
But there will be bollards placed in front to protect them
excellent,
from.
okay, thank you.
Now, that area is elevated right now. Is that going to be brought down to pavement level? You're leaving it up there? Or?
So we're stepping the transformers. There's about a 2 to 3 foot elevation difference from the asphalt to where the back of the property is. So we will be proposing some minor grading to flatten the area that's stepped up. I believe the, go to our grading plan, which is the grading plan beyond it. The elevation of the concrete slab is about 18 inches higher than the asphalt. I'll confirm that in 2 seconds.
And just for the board's aware, I have a memo October 7th that the town engineer has already reviewed the soil moving permit for this, so that's already in hand. The other issue that I have, one of the issues I have is that in prior applications, there was one in 1 Sylvan for a generator. The generator was considered an accessory structure. If these transformers are considered accessory structures, there's variances required. So I'm not sure how that, because they're,
I don't think we have any precedent on determination of
transformer. However, the way I read the land use law, they talk about a structure can be on or below the ground, which would bring tanks into the being. And based on Jennifer's interpretation of the ordinance, I think it is an accessory structure.
The transformers, the tanks are in the building. We're talking about the transformers.
This is equipment.
Yeah.
You consider air conditioner equipment accessory structures also?
Yes, she does.
I believe the terminology was the generator was considered an accessory structure, but there was no mention of the transformers. These are transformers back here. The generators are inside.
Did you meet with the zoning officer to discuss that?
No, we did not.
I did not.
Well, based
I
upon
misunderstood what you just said.
There is a letter somewhere that mentions the generators being considered an accessory structure, but the generators are located inside.
In the building.
Inside the building, correct.
But there's no discussion on the transformers.
Correct.
Well, seeing that,
You know, they're somewhat unique. I mean, there are transformers that are on commercial property because they needed the power source. And I don't recall ever dealing with a transformer that was considered an accessory structure.
no, I believe equipment is not considered accessory structures.
The town does consider air conditioners. We've had a number of cases this year where people changed old air conditioners for new ones in the same location, and we dealt with them.
Real quickly, we dealt with it.
Yeah. So, why do we do this? My interpretation is, after discussion, that it is not. It's a power facility, that it would be normal in this type of use.
I don't disagree with that.
The other item is, there's a roll-off container in the parking lot. Is that going to be removed?
It's already been removed.
Already removed. The increase in pervious cover triggers under 225-98 a minor development for stormwater. Have you looked into that at all, as how you want to address that, or?
Sure. So our plan to address that is to remove 4 existing parking spaces to provide a net zero impervious surface. Right now, there's about 621 square feet of new impervious surface being generated by the 6 new transformer pads. That was the nature of the comment. So in an effort to eliminate that, we're looking to eliminate 4 existing parking spaces.
What is the required parking versus parking on site now versus?
The site is significantly overparked. Right now, the provided parking is 92 parking spaces. The required parking is 13. So we have plenty of opportunity to reduce the parking spaces.
And the required is based upon the ordinance?
Correct. Number of plant employees, number of managerial personnel, number of vehicles stationed at the site. It was all based on our current operational needs at 13.
Okay, there were some numbers in the Burgess report. The spill prevention control and countermeasure plan appears to indicate that the current fuel storage is 15,584, and the current oil storage is 2,081. So the prior township action permitted 4,000 gallons of fuel, and again, the plan says there's 15,000 now, and we're going up to 36. So I guess my question is, are we adding 36 to 4,000, or are we adding 36 to 15,000?
We're adding 36. There was an error in the prior approval that it didn't take into account existing fuel storage. That was supposed to be an additive number. So the number we just provided to you was total fuel storage on site. So let's not make that mistake. That's why I did it that particular way. 36,000, it's the additional fuel storage, and that other number was, what was that again, JT?
The total fuel storage was 54,458 gallons.
So that's total fuel storage. Also.
What was that number?
54,458.
Because I don't remember seeing that number, but that's, so we're at almost 55,000 gallons of fuel. And just the applicant should update that plan if there's approval, all the fuel numbers are changes, so that plan's gonna have to be updated.
We will do so.
And that's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank
Update
you.
the spill plan?
Sorry?
Update the spill plan, is that?
It's called the Spill Prevention Control and Countermeasure Plan.
Okay, I will include that language.
Any other questions from the board? Are there any questions from the public in regard to the testimony from this gentleman only? Seeing none. Would someone like to, form a, thank you. Are there any comments for or against this application?
And you had no witnesses, right?
And no other witnesses. Thank you, Mr. O'Neill. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
So I think that you've answered for me any concerns about safety. You have an ongoing business that needs to prepare for the future, and it seems de minimis in nature, so I will be voting for it.
Thank you.
Want me to keep going?
Yep.
Yes, please.
Application 24:60, Cologix, 200 Webro Road, Block 737, Lot 2, Zone SCD-5A, minor site plan granted with a D variance for fuel storage capacity, paving and striping. Do we need any of the language in there, Mr. Johnson?
We're gonna remove 4 parking spaces.
Removing 4 parking spacing and adding the proper fuel number?
Still.
And the update of the spill prevention plan.
And an update of the fuel spillage prevention plan.
Second.
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Petty.
Yes.
Quinn.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Willens.
Yep.
Grignani.
Yes,
Thank you, everybody.
thank you. Your resolution is approved and will be approved at the upcoming meeting and mailed to you within 10 days. And you can then apply for your zoning and construction permits. Thank you. Application 2310, Klein Outdoor Advertising, LLC, 99 Fanny Road, Block 449, Lot 1 Zone, SCD3, site plan with CD variance to construct a billboard.
Okay.
Good evening once again, everybody. Joseph O'Neill, Pierre O'Neill, here on behalf of the client on this continuing matter. We are here this evening with additional exhibits showing the board the reduced visual impact of the proposed sign, with elements being incorporated that basically limit the view to the sides. I think we provided, show you a very clear exhibit. If we just take 2 seconds to get this a little faster. Okay, with me again is Mr. Vogt, who was previously sworn and qualified.
You understand you're still on the road, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Still licensed in New Jersey, Mr. Vogt?
Yeah.
So why don't you walk through what we've got here now?
Sure.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sure. To the right is our site plan rendering that was testified at our previous hearing. I believe that's Exhibit A2. And on the left is our new exhibit showing some of the lighting proposed for the billboard and the viewing angles. I can label that a new exhibit for you.
So that was not part of the package?
That was not part of the package.
It's Exhibit A3 now.
It's definitely, no,
We
we
had
had an
other-
A3.
We had other ones before.
We had an A3, we had an A4.
I think we were all the way up to 9.
I think we're up to 9. Yeah, I have a note on an A8, so I think you're right. I think we're A9.
A9.
Make it A9.
Okay, so A9,
A10.
A10, okay. A10, okay, so A10 is a aerial view of the property with the location of the billboard located in the middle. It's basically the red dot. I have smaller handouts if that's easier for the board, if you'd like to have them in front of you.
Yeah,
Please,
why don't we
Sure.
pass that? Take a moment.
We'll hand it out.
Sure. Thank you. Sure, so this Exhibit A10, while that's being passed out, it's labeled EX-02. It's aerial view exhibit rotated, and it has a date of 8/7/2024.
What are we looking at?
Sure, so,
Give him a minute, Joe.
We're all the same, no?
yeah.
John, how does this relate to the...
Okay, so to the top of the page is north, to the bottom of the page is south. What we did is we superimposed the billboard location on the aerial, and we presented the angles out from the face of the board. And what we're using with this billboard's technology is a light mitigation screen. So it limits the viewing angle to a 30-degree viewing angle on each side. Okay, so it goes out, you go out 30 degrees from center on each side. So it's a 60-degree viewing angle from left to right on both sides, as opposed to it being almost double that, 120 degrees. So we're limiting that down to half the size. So what we did is we basically grayed out what you see in a dark color is beyond the 30-degree mark where the screen goes black, and you cannot see it from your viewing angle. So all of the properties that are in the dark hatched areas are beyond the 30-degree viewing angle and will not see the message on the billboard face. Doesn't,
Actually.
yes, it's dark.
So you won't see any residual light, is that what you're saying?
You won't see any residual light beyond the 30 degrees. You may see the structure itself, but not the message.
Now, I noticed down bottom on this exhibit, around Intervale Road, there's still some houses in the lighted area. About how far away are those houses?
Sure, so those rings that are on the page, they go out in increments of 100 feet. So the last ring is 500 feet, just as a scale of reference. So if I
It's
come
over
down,
1,000 feet away.
you're at easily 1,000 feet to Intervale Road. Sure.
There are trees.
I received as a result of a question with Mr. O'Neill, an aerial photograph. Do you know, Mr. O'Neill, whether this was previously provided?
I do not believe that was previously provided. That was done at my request. I was told
I did not make copies of it. I'm going to send it down to the board and they can just quickly look at it, because.
Oh, yes, there it is.
Sure. Do you want to see that? I
You have
have
that?
it, and
But the concern is the houses across.
I
the
do have
middle.
handouts of that
Yeah,
as
why
well.
don't you just put that up
Sure.
as opposed to
You got
pass
it?
this little one around?
Yeah, the handouts.
Yeah, we've got some.
Oh, you got a handout? Oh, great.
And this is A11, correct?
This will be A11.
The reason I interrupted their presentation is because I had some concern, and I think it came up from a prior meeting about the impact to the Intervale Road neighborhood. But I think 1,000-foot separation, with the stipulations they put on, I'm satisfied.
So while that exhibit A11 is being passed out, that again is another aerial photograph, very similar to A10. And what we did is, you'll see there's a white line that shows a distance from the point of the billboard location on the subject lot, and then down to Intervale Road. And if you look close enough, and I can read it to you because I know it is small, where the end of that line is, the distance from the billboard is 1,167 feet, approximately. So you're definitely at the 1,000-foot and better mark.
And it's going through multiple properties, multiple areas of trees,
Over a building.
over a building.
Building.
Correct.
Yeah,
Right.
not gonna-
Right.
Correct. And what I also did on Exhibit A10, I put elevation numbers on those drawings. So you'll see little flags that have elevations on them. So our billboard, the ground level underneath the sign is elevation 401, so 401. Intervale Road, I have a leader going down there. It varies anywhere between elevation 389 to 395. So it is several feet lower than our existing property. And then I have other elevations scattered throughout, just to give you an idea of what the different elevations are on the
So,
surrounding property.
Mr. Chadwick, you're comfortable that this is gonna have next to no effect on any residential?
Correct.
Okay.
Before the meeting, I made a point of going up again and looking at it after having received
Yeah.
what is now A11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And what I also did on this exhibit is the northbound side, or the left-hand read. What I did to take it farther out of view from the residential development is I basically took the angle off of that face. So the sign had a V. On that one side, I just made it a flat face, so it pulls the viewing angle farther out from that condo complex, townhouse complex. Okay,
Is that change shown on any submitted plan?
It is not, but
I think we
I
should
can
write it on the
certainly-
site plan.
Sure.
The angle of the billboard and its specs. What were the other thing, besides the 30-degree, you said you were putting something on were you putting wings on the billboard or no?
no, it's the light mitigation technology on the board limits the viewing angle. It's already on the board itself.
Are these bulbs inset into the board?
That's correct. We had shown a video, for those who were here at a prior application. Basically, what they do is they recess the diodes into the face of the billboard, and it basically acts as a house side shield, if that terminology rings a bell, with standard lighting that you would have in a site.
It was the drone video, right?
On the site,
Yes.
on the site plan, why don't you put that information so we can
Sure.
check it, hopefully the building department gets it.
Sure, I can certainly do that. It's a very simple change on the site plan.
Any additional questions from the board? Anyone in the public have any questions of this gentleman and his testimony only?
Did you have any questions? Any more questions?
No,
Okay, sorry.
Mr. O'Neill, do you have any other
we do not.
gentlemen that would like to talk? No? Okay, speak.
Thank you.
Would someone like to frame a resolution, please?
Can I just interrupt? for one
Yes,
second?
definitely.
You got all the planning testimony in at the last hearing, right?
I believe we did, yes.
Okay. So I think because you have adapted the plan to the concerns of the board and the people, I will be voting for this. Do you want me to continue?
Please?
Okay. Why not?
Yeah. he's
Okay.
on a roll.
So, it's this long one? Which one? Oh. Application 23:10, Klein Outdoor Advertising LLC, 99 Fanny Road, Block 449, Lot 1, Zone SED-3. Recommend granting a site plan with a C&D variance to construct a billboard. Do we need any other language, Mr. Johnson?
I just want to confirm, you removed the requirement for a height variance, right? You're no longer looking for a height variance,
We
is
were
that?
looking for the height variance.
You still are looking for the height
Yes.
variance, right? Okay, gotcha.
But you reduced that.
By 5 feet, right?
No.
Did you reduce the height?
No, the height is.
From the original submission?
No, the height,
60 feet.
the height is 60 feet on that board.
Wasn't it higher than that when you started?
It was higher, we were playing
All right,
around
so we're
with
at
it.
60 feet.
Okay.
It's 60 feet, we were playing
Okay.
around with a couple different heights and.
No, that's it, 60
Good.
feet. Thank you,
60
sir.
feet. Thank you.
Okay, we're good.
Did you need, I'm sorry, did you
Okay.
need any C variances at all, or just the D for the use and the D6 for the height? I don't think you needed any, did you ask for any Cs? I just want to make sure
Because
we're
it
clear.
says C here.
Yeah.
I do believe we did ask for seats.
Yeah, because you're obviously in the rear yard
Yeah,
setback.
I just want to make sure I have everything correct in the resolution.
I'll get it for you, yeah.
Yes, there was a rear yard of 5 feet, where 50 feet is
Required.
required.
So the C variance stands and,
Yes.
Okay, so it's the use, the height, and the rear yard setback.
Yes.
Okay,
okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Sorry to
Second
interrupt.
ready?
That's it?
Second,
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Petty,
Yes.
Ready,
yes.
Quinn,
Yes.
Willen,
Yep.
Grignani.
Yes,
After you voted, all of the standard community participation that was discussed
Yes, we
way
already
back when
discussed,
our part of this
access.
approval.
Access by the municipality and nonprofit groups in town, going to be given a dedicated number to call for their messages, and every message is taken care of by the company. And, all the conditions that we discussed about light mitigation, et cetera, are all included.
I'll send Mr. O'Neill a draft resolution for he and I to make sure that we've captured everything that was discussed both at this meeting and the last meeting.
Yeah, we'll work on that language about the contact information, make sure it's in the resolution.
Mr. O'Neill, your resolution will be approved at the upcoming meeting and mailed to you within 10 days. You can then apply for your zoning and construction permits.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, can we do a closed session now?
Yeah, we can.
Right?
Want to go into the next
Yeah.
meeting?
Sure, we can have that conversation.
Efficiency, sir.
Okay.
Love good sports on.
We can't do the 7:30 meeting yet,
Oh, okay.
okay? But I'm gonna ask you to read something so that we can have a discussion about a matter that
We're
was,
going to excuse the public.
We need to close the room off?
we need to close the room.
I don't see it on the.
It's not on your agenda.
Oh, okay.
I'm throwing you a
away, just go
curveball.
out.
Please, I don't need any curveballs. I'm still in a learning phase.
Okay. All right, this is what you're gonna read.
I'm gonna
You're
read
not
this.
gonna say Pacific Outdoor, you're gonna say Danny Realty.
I don't know. He's gonna talk about something.
Yeah, when is that gonna be?
It was gonna be today.
Good night, Mr. O'Neill.
Open for a weekend, yeah.
Okay, okay.
No.
I would agree.
You want me to shut the door? You want me to shut the door?
Sure.
Please. Mr. O'Neill, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. O'Neill is doing it.
It's cold.
It's closed.
Okay, hold on. You gotta read the thing. and
Yeah,
then
she's
I'll-
gotta read, yeah, she's gotta read this first.
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231,
I know, after we go into session, I'll go, thank you, Joe, appreciate that.
permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills Board of Adjustment is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills Board of Adjustment wishes to discuss attorney-client privilege regarding Danny Realtor, PTH BOA, and whereas minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires confidentiality, the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be resolved by the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills Board of Adjustment that the public be excluded from this meeting. Do I need a vote on this?
Yes.
Vote, please.
Aye.
Second?
Aye.
Mr. Willens?
Yes.
Grignani, yes?
Yes, Santosh.
Yes.
Okay, you're in executive session now.
Thank you.
You can open the door.
Okay, all right, so you're now on.
Yeah, you're the youngest.
Now,
We're only gonna
so
hear
wait,
one.
this is yours.
Who's what it's about?
John is the home, where is it? Yeah,
There's
these
only
two
one
are there, they're in her notes. This has
Okay.
been
I already
rescheduled.
had an
Would you invite him in?
November 6th is,
The approval was overturned because the notice was wrong.
2457.
You should be able to put outside.
Trinicone? I don't know. Ceracone?
And it was a weird thing. It was a daycare and a
The
half.
other one is,
And they were concerned about parking, and it was in Western
yeah, she's
Mass, parking.
Nora's gonna read that.
And they got an agreement with the church next door. Absolutely. That during the weekdays, they were gonna lease parking spaces at the church
I can't
for
remember how
parking
many resolutions anyway.
employees of the daycare.
I guess.
You're on record.
So now the
Thank
next
you.
base is loaded again.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah, no else.
Just a pledge of allegiance.
You don't have to.
I don't have to pledge allegiance?
Refer that we did the December meeting.
Somebody's got lucky and
All right.
finally.
Okay, here we go.
Pledge of Allegiance was said at our previous meeting. This meeting is open to the general public if they would like to speak about anything not on tonight's agenda. See no one? Correspondence, please, Nora?
Yep, we have correspondence received from Zachary Sion, requesting application 2457, 32 Asbury Place, Block 63, Lot 2, be carried from October 9th, 2024 to November 6th, 2024, without further notice, except for the public utilities within the township. Correspondence from Michael Miai, requesting application 2436, 26 Youth Avenue, Block 562, Lot 16, be carried from October 9th, 2024 to December 4th, 2024, without further notice and with the grant of any necessary extensions through December 31st, 2024, for the board to make decision on the case. Lastly, we have correspondence received from Ursula Leo of Lady Clark Ryan, requesting application 2327, 328 Kingston Road, Block 211, Lot 11, be carried from October 9th, 2024 to February 12th, 2025 without further notice and grants an extension for the board to make decision on case through February 28th, 2025.
Thank you. Nora, I'm going to ask for a vote on application 2451 and 2456. Application 2451, James Farley, 275 Lake Shore Drive, Block 581, Lot 30, Zone R4, for a C variance to construct an open deck with stairs contrary to sections 430-35, column 13, and application 2456, A2Z RX LLC, 122 North Bedwick Road, Block 513, Lot 29, Zone B5, D variance for a pharmacy, thank you, pharmacy.
Second, Jaskowitz.
Who was the, made the motion?
The chairman. Chairwoman.
Okay. Jaskowitz?
Yep.
Petty?
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Grignani?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Outdoor, application 1921, Pacific Outdoor Advertising, 299 Littleton Road, Block 395, Lot 1, Zone B2. Preliminary and final major site plan with CD variance to construct a billboard with the proposed modifications from the original application as follows. The height of the billboard structure shall be reduced by 5 feet for a total height not to exceed 55 feet. Only the eastern facing or right facing billboard shall be static, and the traditional billboard with traditional lighting to be turned off at midnight and turned back on no later than 6 a.m. The other side shall remain a digital billboard as proposed with conical lights to diminish the disbursement of lights and impact on surrounding neighborhoods. The billboard shall be equipped with the appropriate technology necessary to limit visibility from the site.
You're asking for that motion,
Yes.
correct?
We can do the resolution.
May we have a motion, please?
First, for motion. Second.
Jaskowitz?
Yes.
Petty?
Yes.
Quinn? Yes. Ready?
Yes.
That's that. Excuse me?
Hey.
I don't have that privilege?
You're the chair.
Okay, all right, thank you. Application 2452, Mr. Kalsawala, 275 Beechwood Road, Block 203, Lot 1.02, Row, Zone R3, C variance to construct a new two-story single-family dwelling with attached garage, covered porch, and open deck with stairs, contrary to section 430-35, column 3, and section 430-275H. Good evening.
Can you raise your right hand, please?
Sure.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, thanks.
Can you state your name and spell your first and last name, please?
Sure. First name Nakul, N-A-K-U-L, last name Kasadwala, K-A-S-A-D-W-A-L-A.
Thank you. You can be seated.
Thanks.
Please
Sure.
tell the board why you would like to have this application approved for your home.
So basically, this lot is in R3 zone. It is complying from all the angles other than the front width of the lot. As per the R3 zone, it needs 100 feet and the lot is 91.88 feet. So that's the one of the variants. And the other is, I'm making a 3-car garage there. So maximum allowed in the front is 24 feet and I'm requesting the 30 feet there. One of the reason is like 202 is near there and in front of it there is a school. So I want a broader driveway to enter and exit as such. So those are the two requests for the variance.
Two variances.
Is there a house on your north side of your property, the other side from the school?
So basically, if I'm facing the house, on the right side is the Board of Education property,
Right.
and on the left side, there is another lot, and after that, there is a house, and immediately 202 comes.
Is there a house on that lot?
On the left, no, there is no house, just
There's
no.
no house there. It's a vacant lot.
It's a vacant lot.
Are there any questions? Is that all, that's your testimony, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any questions from the board on this application?
I just have one. So the one issue you have is the three-car garage. Is that the issue you're looking at? And you need that because of what? You didn't tell us why you need it.
Because if the multiple car is parked there, the entry becomes small, and I want enough parking space. And another thing is, the right-of-way is not 10 feet, it's very deep. I think it's 20 or 30 feet there. So the front entrance will be narrowed to 24 feet, and then it will expand to 30 feet as such, because of the three-car garage. So I thought that if I can get the 30 feet straight line, it will be helpful from the car movement perspective. And
Let's start that over. The driveway, when it connects to Beechwood, will be 24 feet wide?
yes, so it's allowed is.
Then it'll widen out as you go back to your property, is that what you're saying?
Yes, so by default, it is allowed 24 feet, but when I go in, there are three-car garage, so the driveway will be wide for the three-car garage, so it will be 30 feet. So I thought that if I can make from the front 30 feet, it will be more
You
helpful.
want to keep it uniform, 30 feet all the way
Exactly.
through. All right.
Do you have any questions on the board
No.
of this witness? I don't see anyone in the public to ask the questions. Any other questions from the board? No?
Nope.
Would a member like to frame a resolution, please? Mr. Joshkowitz, if you
Sure.
do
This
it.
is, request is de minimis in nature. He's building a nice home. We're not really bothering anybody, so I'll be voting for it. So, application 24:52, Nakil Casadawala, 275 Beechwood Road, Block 203, Lot 1.02, Zone R-3. Recommend granting a C variance to construct a new two-story, single-family dwelling with attached garage, covered porch, and open deck with stairs contrary to sections 430-35, columns 3, and section 430-275H.
Second ready?
Jaskowitz.
Yes.
Eddie.
Yes.
Quinn.
Yes.
Eddie.
Yes.
Lewin.
Yep.
Grignani.
Yes. Sir, your application is approved at the upcoming meeting, and it will be mailed to you. And within 10 days, you'll get your approval, and you can then apply for your construction and zoning permits. Okay?
Thank you very much, really appreciate that.
Lots of
You were
luck.
wonderful.
Lots of luck, sir.
Good luck.
We have a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Well, the other two on the agenda, what's the deal on them? Did we carry them or did I miss something earlier?
Yeah, they get,
Yeah.